What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ronald Sima, and thank you for viewing my content. And it's been a while since I've been around, and thank you for coming around during my absence. And if there's a comment that you had to leave, thank you for leaving it down in the comment section below. Thank you for liking, thank you for viewing, thank you for subscribing if you're a new subscriber, and I really love you so much. And hey, I'm never going to ask people to subscribe to my channel. If you really think that what I'm talking about really makes sense, hey, then subscribe. If you really feel that it's not really good, hey, please, you don't subscribe, because it's not all about cashing in the check at the end of the day. According to me, it's about adding to society, giving back to society. And I'm not an affluent man, but I'm going to do it in the smallest way, in my means, around my means. So my friend, thank you for being around. My name is Ronald Sima, and I come to you in a somber tone. It's really painful. Really painful. Every time Africa gets a strong lion that's going to stand up and is going to show Africans the right way, the way of understanding that corruption is the only way, and disorganization is the only way that the West is going to infiltrate us and confuse us, and in that way control us, we always lose that man. All the way from Idi Amin, Muammar Gaddafi, Nelson Mandela, Thomas Sankara, and now here we are. We lost a great man, Pombe Magufuli. Oh my God. He's a man that got up and showed these people that proved to me coronavirus is that a fatal, as you say, and they failed to prove it to him. And these are the reasons why the Westerners have always manipulated Africans. The reason why Westerners have turned African leaders into their employees, because we can never stand up and show them that why are you asking us to do this, yet when they tell us to do certain things, we ask them why. How's it? They ask us why, since when. Pombe Magufuli and I do not know why all these men die mysteriously just like that. They just go and disappear. What killed Pombe Magufuli? We should be having an extensive autopsy of why this man has died, but we do not have anything, and we're just gallivanting and just going like that. For how long are we going to keep on losing our people just like that? Strong men like that. Anyhow, it's so painful. I'll be right back to expound more onto this. But Corona, strong rich men owning pharmaceutical companies, don't think you're always going to be having your way. Don't think it's always going to be like that. There's time, and it can be a very, very long time, but it expires. I'll be right back. I'm Ronald Sima. Alright, my name is Ronald Sima, and welcome back again. And Joseph Arins, thank you for the music. Fizal Mostrixx, thank you for the music. Bensound, thank you for the music. Thank you for commenting in the comment section below. Thank you for viewing, and thank you for liking, and thank you for subscribing. Thank you very much. And as I left off, I told you that Africa's lost a very strong man. Unfortunately, every time we get like a good cell that manages to fight with this cancer that hurts us in Africa, it's always alleviated, and Pombe Magufuli was one of those great antidotes or great treatment for Africa. And unfortunately, he's short-lived and he's left. And he's the kind of man that had managed to fight corruption to almost zero. Almost zero. I cannot say completely zero, but he's the man that walked into a hospital and found, disguised as a patient, and found people asking for money. And he looked at the whole operations of the hospital, and he understood the semantics of how the hospital is run. And the next day he called and fired the whole staff of the health center. Now, because he defies democracy as the West want it, because they understand when they sell out this democratic thing, they understand that it's the only way that they're going to be able to keep around their corrupt officials, who are going to keep around so that they can infiltrate and exploit Africa's still minerals, resources and everything. But every time you have a man like Pombe Magufuli who gets up in the morning and buys his country an airline, and he tells his transport minister that we need to paint this airline, and they ask him for $2 million $2 million, and he gets down to ordinary painters and asks them, what does it take to paint this? And the guy tells him, it will just cost $200. And the guy does the job properly and he gives them an extra $1,000. They really find such a person not a good man, because they're not going to be able to exploit Africa. If you look at the infrastructure that he's built for just a period of, I don't know, is it 5 years? You will get surprised. This is a man that has really turned around Tanzania. If you look at the politicians that he found into power, stealing, businessmen that were going ahead and now were laundering money and frauding taxes, he got them all to zero. Now, definitely, these men connive with the West, and this man goes, and the time Corona came, it was the way for him to go. Now, let's look at Corona, the whole Corona thing. This is a man that, if you look at all the Western leaders, he's the man that got up and asked the West, why is grey grey? How does grey become grey? Is it because... And the West failed to explain. And for all this time, while Corona goes ahead and vanquishes the whole world, Tanzania is lively. Tanzania is working. Tanzania is, until, I don't know what is going to happen, but if you look at the people from Tanzania, they don't have the stupidity of masks and whatever. Yes, Corona is a pestilence. It's a disease, but we've always had this disease, and I'm always going to say it. And Corona, and Magufuli got up and said, show me, tell me how really fatal this thing is. And they were failed to tell him how fatal the thing was. Now things get even unfold. If you say that this disease was really, really fatal, and it was wiping people off the face of the earth, and you care about us so much that you've sent aid. The other time there was a door-to-door survey, and they came to my house and they're asking me how Corona has affected us, how all this kind of stupidity from AMREF. So you're sending in all those things and you're claiming that you care so much about us. How about you cared more about us and subsidized the cost of the vaccines, or gave us the rights to mass produce this thing? If it's really fatal, and if you really say that you care so much, how about you give us the rights to massively produce the vaccine? But because you are thugs, because you are lying, because you manipulative people, now that you realize that, okay, now it's time for you to sell, you called media houses onto the table, sold this thing to them, told them blow this out of proportion, and after that, you go ahead and tell the world, let's give it a name, because we cannot sell a pestilence, we cannot sell a fear, a nameless fear. And you got coronavirus. This was a disease we had. In our local language, it's called Rubyamira. For those of you who do not know about it, then you're stupid. If you're Africans and you do know, especially from Uganda, if you do not know about it, then you're stupid. If you believe that Corona is really, really that bad new thing, then you're stupid. Because Rubyamira brings you a fever, brings you a cold, makes your joints weak, makes your breathing complicated. I suffered from this in 2016. But because a Western man had not yet given it a name and had never found interest in it, therefore, it was not worth being called a bad disease. Now that they find interest in it, they're going to be selling a vaccine. I said this in one of my vlogs last year. I was very clear. I said this. After all this whole thing has gone up and the news has made a lot of noise, they're going to come in and say, hey, now we have a vaccine. Now we have a vaccine. And all our politicians are stupidly taking those jobs. And advertising. I took my job. The Prime Minister the other time was talking on Twitter and saying that I took my first job. But hey, if you say, Corona is still real, vaccines are there and they work, but hey, you also still have to be vigilant and make sure that the SOPs are followed. And if the government cares about us so much, why is it that people up to now still have not to find medicine in their referral hospital? If the government cares so much, why are people in rural areas still having no health care? Why do we still not have a minimum wage? Why do we still not have a good healthcare system, health insurance? Why don't we have that? If you care so much, Mr. Prime Minister, about our health, why? We cannot even find free painkillers in our referral hospital in Mulago. But now you're telling us you care so much about Corona. Really? Until when are politicians going to keep on being manipulative? And really, I would talk from now up to the end, but honestly speaking, it's so painful that we've lost men like Amin. And when I talk about Amin, for those of you who do not know about him, and especially when it comes to the Indians that he kicked out of Uganda and right now are in exile and trying to repossess their property, some of them who still can manage, they're going to say, what the hell is he talking about? But hey, Amin was really a great man. He was really a great man. And men like Muammar Gaddafi, men like Thomas Sankara in West Africa. But all of them just go like that. And they all die. These are men that get up and understand that our African countries have the power to sustain themselves, have the power to stand on their own, have the power to, and they go down and diagnose the problem of Africa, which happens to be disorganization, which is normally caused by corruption. And once they troubleshoot that and they start dealing with corruption, then the Westerners come to realize that we're not going to be able to manipulate these people. But if only all Africans would learn about this thing. If all Africans would learn, then maybe Africa would be a better place. But rest in peace, Pombe Magufuli. We hope to get another president, maybe in another part of Africa, but Pombe Magufuli is Africa's president. He's Africa's president. So far, we had Nelson Mandela, we had a couple of them. But Pombe Magufuli was really a great man. There are quite many stories. If you go down to Tanzania, you're going to realize there are quite many stories. And this man had really watered down. If an African country can live for 2 years, aidless, that's a very, very bad thing to the West. They get to realize they cannot control you. And this is a man that had gotten up and had shown them that, hey, we're not going to live on your aid. We have the potential. Tanzania is not a country with so much natural resources that it can sustain itself for the 2 years without aid. But if it managed, then how about countries like Congo? How about countries like South Africa? How about countries like Uganda, where we have quite many resources? We have gold, we have diamonds, we have uranium, we have oil, we have fish, we have coffee. Oh, we have all those things. We have coal. How about Uganda? Why are we still having aid? Why are we still dying with dates? Why? With all the natural resources. It's because we're corrupt. It's because we don't have men like Magufuli. And men like Magufuli really kick out our remote controllers. I'll be right back. My name is Ronald Sima. Please, thank you for coming around. Thank you for sticking around. Joseph Arians, thank you so much for the music. You told me you're releasing new music. Hey, thank you very much for the good music. Bensound, Fizal Mostrixx, Aloysius Megade, Audio Django, Orange 83. Thank you so much for the content that you create that helps me enhance my good content just like this.